Hope lives. Always. So often we need reminders of the truth of that statement. We need reminders for lots of things. We set these reminders on our cell phones. We write them on little yellow sticky notes that adorn cubicles. We place them under magnets on the refrigerator door. For me, my reminders of what I have to do are a constant accessory in my life. Everywhere I go, I've got to bring my calendar with me, or I'm going to forget meetings or appointments and pretty much any other aspect of my day. We have to remind ourselves what groceries to buy, what pills to take and when to take them, which kid has piano lessons and on which day and at what time. And for many people, lying somewhere on that list of things that we need to remember is the truth that hope lives. That hope for a better future is as present as a flame in the darkness, as a friend in isolation, and as a whisper from within uncertain winds. God has always known our very human need for reminders of God's presence, just as God has always known our very human penchant for ignoring those reminders. We see both in the book of Exodus. After God frees the people from slavery in Egypt through Moses, God stands before the people as they wander across the desert in one of the most powerful reminders of God's hope in history, as a pillar of smoke in the daytime and as a pillar of fire at night. At any point that these people find themselves questioning that hope exists or questioning that they're being led toward a better future, all they got to do is look up at that pillar of smoke or fire and remember. But they don't. Not always. Even with a literal sign from heaven stretching to the clouds, they still find themselves in doubt, still find themselves giving in to fear, which only creates infighting among them, causing them to look at each other with contempt, causing them to lose faith, not only in God, but in each other. Now more than ever, we can't let that happen. We need one another desperately. We need unity instead of infighting. We need to lift each other up instead of seeking to bring each other down. And to do this, we need to be reminded to look up and see that hope still lives. In a word, what we need is the bat signal. In one of the opening scenes of Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight, the police commissioner goes on the roof of the police department and he lights up the bat signal. It's a huge floodlight that shines above the skyline and it projects Batman's emblem in the clouds. In the comic books and in the cartoons, this was his way of calling Batman over to him so that he could let the Caped Crusader know where there was trouble so that Batman could go and save the day. But in this scene, in that movie, the police commissioner lights the bat signal for a very different reason. The police commissioner turns to another officer after he turns that big light on and he tells her that he doesn't just turn on the light to call Batman, but to remind the people of the city that he's still out there. For the last week, the church community that I serve, like many around our world, has been unable to hold worship services in our church. I haven't been able to pray in large groups. I have not been able to teach from a pulpit. But there is one thing that I can do. See, we don't have a bat signal to remind people of our city that hope is still out there. But we do have a very large church bell, high in a tower, that I have rung and will continue to ring every single day that we are apart. Every day that we remain inside our homes. It has been rung for 100 years in our city, proclaiming that the God of hope still lives. And my hope is that its sound will echo through the streets, that it will rattle windows, and that you will hear it. And it will remind you and everybody else that even now, hope lives. Always.